What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to the evening agenda hosted by me. It's the motherfucking CRAIG. Craigo! Yeah, I know that's cringe as fuck, but I wanted to do it, so why not? Let's have a bit of fun. How are we all? I hope we're ready. How did we think of the Super Bowl last night? I was loving the halftime show, I have to say. Brought back loads of memories of growing up for me. I know it was a bit old school for maybe many a younger viewer out there, but I had loads of fun with it. I thought it was great. Nice to see you all in. I hope you're well. Yeah, loads for us to get through. We'll talk about Carvalho. We will talk about Mohamed Salah and that ridiculous Snapchat attempt to undermine Mo, and anything else, of course, that you guys want to talk about. We'll look back over yesterday's game against Burnley at Turf Moor. We grounded out. It wasn't pretty, but you know what? I don't care. It's all about getting the points. So yes, how are we all? Lovely to see you in. As always, just going to start out with a mention for our sponsors. We are being brought to you this evening with thanks to our friends at SPITCH. SPITCH is the ultimate fantasy football manager game that allows you to prove your knowledge and pit your wits against other football managers around the world and be with a chance to win your share of a prize pool each week that can be as high as £70,000. Yes, £70,000. SPITCH offers games from multiple leagues, including the Bundesliga, the Champions League, and the Premier League. You can create a brand new lineup every week, meaning that you can increase your chances of winning a share of that prize pool. There are paid pitches, there are free pitches, entirely up to you which one you want to use. Once a match day kicks off, you'll receive your points based on the usual things like shots, assists, goals, all of that kind of stuff. There's tons of stats and analysis available inside the app as well. You must be 18 years or over and have your ID ready on sign up and a resident of the UK in order to play. You will see a second link in the description as well, my friends, and that is the community link for SPITCH, which will give you information on more leagues, upcoming events, or upcoming bonuses, all that kind of stuff as well. Both the links in the description. How are we? Right, let's get going. Genuinely the best halftime show of all time, said Lil X. Loved it. Oh, I was buzzing with it. I was bouncing around. How good was Snoop, by the way? Oh my god, does that man not get old? My days, he was amazing. What a game as well to finish it off last night. So yeah, great Sunday. The Reds win Super Bowl last night. Doesn't get much better than that. But look, I want to start off the video by talking about the Snapchat video, or the Snapchat images that are doing the rounds. Let me just say one thing. We all know Mohamed Salah. We all know what type of man Mohamed Salah is. And I find it very insulting that some Liverpool fans actually believe this could be true. It's bullshit. It's absolute nonsense. It's another attempt to undermine the great Mohamed Salah. I don't know who is behind it. I hope whoever's behind it is found out. But ultimately, yeah, come on. Give your head a wobble. It's Mo. That's not the type of behaviour that we would associate or expect from Mohamed Salah. And I'm fully convinced it's complete and utter poo-poo of the highest order. It belongs on a flagpole firmly planted on Bullshit Island. So yeah, don't worry about it. Just ignore it. It's another attempt to destabilise Mo, to undermine him. And it's just, you can see through it a mile away. There's 4 or 5 things, but I don't even want to address it too much. Just wanted to quickly get it out of the way because I know people are going to ask about it. I hope whoever tried to undermine him like this is found out and has the full extent of the law brought down upon them, because it is just that, an attempt to undermine him. But look, let's look about yesterday's game for a little minute before we move on to Carvalho. I mean, very interesting comments from Jurgen Klopp after the game, and he was right. It wasn't a day for vintage football. The pitch was wet, it was raining, it was windy. Turf Moor is a difficult place to go at the best of times, but you know what? There's something satisfying about a 1-0 win, grinding it out, keeping a clean sheet. And I think our defence, week in, week out now, is just getting better and better and better. That partnership with Matip and Van Dijk is sensational. I thought Fabinho played really well as well. And look, we got the job done. We move on to the game against Inter Milan coming up on Wednesday, which is a huge game as we travel over to Italy in the first leg of the knockout stage of the Champions League. So yeah, let's go. What are we saying? Are we looking forward to it? Because I am buzzing, my friends. Absolutely buzzing for this one. Champions League back. It feels like an eternity. I think it was early December, if my memory's right, the last Champions League game we played. And my God, that feels like a long time ago. So yeah, we'll talk about that, of course, as well. We will talk about the Fabio Carvalho, which looks like, as we've told you guys all along, it's been reported by Kevin Palmer, I believe, of the Sunday World, that a framework is in place for the deal to take Fabio Carvalho from Fulham to Liverpool. That will probably be announced in the coming weeks. But interestingly, there's still an opportunity here that Carvalho might go back on loan to Fulham next season. I don't know if that's certain or not yet. I'm still trying to find out, but it has been reported as a possibility. In which case, look, we'll wait and see. I don't know what Jurgen Klopp's long-term plan would have been for Carvalho. Maybe he thinks another season on loan at Fulham up in the Premier League would be beneficial to him. But either way, let's wait and see. But I did tell you guys not to stress about it, and I still feel the same way. I think that Fabio Carvalho deal will be announced in due course, and then we move on to the summer and hopefully an interesting window. Right. The only place online where they've supposed video link asks you to sign up and pay for it. Yeah, it's complete nonsense, complete slander. And again, Lil X, I hope whoever's behind it gets prosecuted. I do, because that is he's a family man. That's disgraceful. They could never pull that type of shit on me, by the way, because they'd never be able to find another man enough to make it look like it's me. But there you go. Yeah, how are we all? Welcome in, by the way. Well, how are we feeling after yesterday's game, and how are we feeling ahead of Wednesday? I mean, I'm really interested to see what sort of lineup you guys are expecting. I'm recording my my preview video tonight ahead of the game, so that'll be coming out tomorrow evening, because I'll be on Twitch tomorrow evening doing a watch along of PSG against Real Madrid. If anybody wants to join me over there for that one, I'll be starting about 7:30 over there tomorrow night. What were the images? So there were some, again, I don't want to dwell on this, but there were some images of Mohamed Salah getting massages and stuff, and then there was images of, you know, the kind of picture that nobody wants to be sent, and it isn't him. It clearly isn't him, but hey ho, you know, people try and ruin a man's good reputation, and that's why people like us and you need to be vocal in support of Mo to let them know that this bullshit isn't going to wash. Jack Dunn said, I expect Lewis for some reason. Yeah, Luis Diaz, I don't know. I don't think Luis Diaz starts away at Inter Milan. And let me tell you why. This is going to be a performance from Liverpool that will require experienced heads, that will require calm heads. And I'm not saying Luis Diaz doesn't have a calm head, but what I am saying is Sadio Mane, Diogo Jota, Mohamed Salah, they know what Jurgen Klopp will ask of them on a European away night. They know how to go to places like that and get out results. So I don't think Luis Diaz starts on Wednesday, possibly off the bench, but for me, I think it's almost nailed on to be Mane, Jota, and Mohamed Salah that start the game. Unless, and I'm all for this, by the way, unless we go for a 4 in attack, you know, maybe play Bobby in that advanced midfield position. I mean, I'm all for it. Oliver Bendel reckons Costas might start. Again, no, I don't think so, Oliver. You know, when you think of Costas, you think of a more front-footed left-back. Away against Inter Milan, I think the tactical nous of Andy Robertson in the system that we have, and again, we speak about relationships, Oliver, around the pitch. That relationship as well with Robertson, maybe Thiago, and Sadio Mane has been tried and tested. They all know each other's runs. They all know what patterns of play to expect from each other. So, yeah, ultimately, look, I think Klopp's got to stick with his tried and tested. I expect Matip to play at centre-back as well. Hendo or Millie? Oh, look, Hendo. I think Hendo. I'm pretty much giving away my team here, but I would expect Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson if he's fit. And I think that's, you know, as much as we might go back and forth about whether Henderson's at his brilliant best, I think you will need that leadership. You will need that vocal player. You will need that nous away somewhere like the Giuseppe Meazza or, you know, the San Siro, whichever one you want to call it, to take on Inter. So, yeah, I'm confident about it, but I'm also really excited about it. Hey Craig, why was Salah trending on Twitter? Already explained it at the start of the video, Zane. Don't want to go back over it because I don't want to give these people the time, mate, or the publicity that they don't deserve. To be fair, was Robbo start against Inter? Wouldn't it have been smart to play Costas yesterday? You can look at it two ways, mate. You can look at it that maybe we play Robbo yesterday and we play Robbo on Wednesday, and then we bring in Costas to play against Norwich at the weekend. That's what I'm expecting to happen. So for me, Canade plays at the weekend against Norwich. Costas plays at the weekend against Norwich, and Diaz plays at the weekend against Norwich. So that's what I would expect. You know, 2 difficult away games, go with the tried and tested personnel, and then maybe ring the changes for the home tie against Norwich on Saturday. That's my thinking anyway. But hey ho, it is just that one man's thoughts. Oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day, isn't it? Shit, Sprina! Happy made up Hallmark whatever the fuck day. Where's my roses? You didn't get me a dozen roses. Yeah, they're still growing apparently. What else have we got? Happy Valentine's Day. Yes, happy Valentine's Day to everybody in the chat. Lots of love to all of you. I don't buy into these Hallmark holidays, by the way. Do you know what I mean? I'm a wonderful husband 365 days a year. It doesn't take me Valentine's Day or some made uppy shit to pretend I love my wife. I can pretend I love her every day of the year. Liz, how are we? First super chat of the day says, love and light to you all today and always. Can you believe that rival fans are trying their best to make it look like Salah? I don't want to go over it. I really don't. I don't want to go back over it. It is arsehole stuff and they deserve to be punished. You're going to the Norwich game, so excited. Do you know who else is going? Chris Stonage is going to the Norwich game as well with his good lady Izzy, so maybe you can bump into Chris there. So right, look, what do we want to talk about? Let's go back over the Carvalho stuff for a little bit because, you know, I don't mind the idea of him going back to Fulham on loan next season. Obviously, we'll need to know what the transfer plans are in the summer. And, you know, if Carvalho is one for the future, maybe he's going to get another year out of Bobby. And then maybe he tries to bring Carvalho in when he's 20 years of age with another year's experience, perhaps a year in the Premier League with Fulham. Because we are led to believe that it is going to be a false 9 attacking midfield role for Fabio Carvalho if he joins the Reds. So how do you feel about that? Do you think if he goes back to Fulham for another season, that's all right? Or would you feel like he's one that you'd want to bring into the squad straight away? FIFA stream tonight? No. Thursday is the next FIFA stream. I think I'm just going to do one season, by the way, as well, on FIFA. I'm not feeling it. I don't like playing it. How much is Milner on a week at the moment? Oliver, I believe it's about £140,000. That James Milner's on, which when he signed the contract was fairly reflective of his status in the squad, and I think it's fair. But if he's going to sign another extension at the club, and I don't know if he is or isn't, you know, we're all guessing on Jurgen Klopp's language the other day when he spoke about Milner continuing to play. I don't know how comfortable I'd feel knowing that he was on more money than Sadio Mane still on a new deal. So yeah, I don't know. How do we feel about the Milner thing? Because I have to admit, I was fully expecting him to move on at the end of the season. And I understand what Klopp was saying about having that experience, that nous in and around the squad. But, I mean, 37 is 37 at the end of the day. Whether you're James Milner, Cristiano Ronaldo, it's one thing talking 32, 33, 34. But when you're getting up to 36, 37, I mean, for me, look, even the greatest can't play that long. Unless you're a goalkeeper, in which case probably you can just about stretch it out. I mean, look at Gigi Buffon. RSH said 150 a week and you think we should keep him. Right, so let me run this past you, mate. So no problem with anybody wanting to keep Milner, of course not, but we're talking about taking 140, 150 grand a week there away from possibly Mohamed Salah's contract, away from possibly another signing to the club. I don't feel comfortable with it. I have to say I don't, and it's not because I don't respect James Milner. Of course I do. But we've spoke all season, or in the last few weeks on here particularly, about having to make difficult decisions. And Jordan Henderson, to me, as said many times, should become the James Milner in the squad. So I don't know. I just hope it's not something that's going to destabilise the dressing room. And by that I mean players looking around going, hang on, like he's getting another contract at 37 and you're nickel and diamond me, Mohamed Salah at 29 years of age. You're unsure about Sadio Mane at 30 years of age. You're unsure about Bobby Firmino. I don't know what type of signal that sends out. And we also know that the club don't like giving out deals really to players over 30. And we're talking about Milner, who's already 36, 37. So, yeah, I don't know. Look, I fully expect Milner to want to play on, by the way. And I'm sure he can play on. But I just don't think he can play on at our level anymore. I think maybe a drop down a level for James Milner if he wants to continue on. But look, ultimately it's Jurgen Klopp's decision. We'll wait and see. Well, I say it's Klopp's decision. It's Klopp and the board's decision. Would love him at Leeds, said Mohammed. I think the romantic in all of us, looks at the Milner situation and go, well, maybe he finishes his career at Leeds. Why not? Let's go full circle on it. And yeah, I'm with you. That looks like the romantic thing to do here. What ways do you think would suit Milner? 80. If he's going to stay, 80 for me, max. 80 grand a week is still what? 4 million quid a year? So, yeah, I don't think, look, in fairness to James Milner, I've no expectation that it will be about money for him. Not at all. I wouldn't label that as James Milner. He plays for the love of the game. He plays to be competitive and because he's a very driven man. But I'd certainly be expecting a severe wage decrease if he's to sign on for another contract. Any show tonight? Yes, Hannah, myself, Paddy Murphy, Chris Stonage will be live at 8:45 tonight with Cop the Week. Jack said, is Carvalho confirmed? No, I won't lie, Jack, it's not confirmed, but it's looking very, 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 very likely. So we knew as soon as the transfer window closed and we missed getting the paperwork in, we'd see Nico Williams go on loan to Fulham. Massive indication then that we were continuing to negotiate for Carvalho. We've seen Kevin Palmer come out and say that a framework for a deal is getting closer. We've also heard Jurgen Klopp come out and mention Carvalho, which he doesn't usually do with players that we aren't very close to. So I fully expect it to get done. I do. And then I suppose the only option is that does he go back to Fulham next season on loan, which I'm not against. I think he'd get good Premier League experience. Fulham look a banker to come up at this point. So yeah, I don't mind it. Hannah, I don't want to say Fulham want the loan for next season, but it's certainly something that seems to be on the table for discussion at the minute around it. Sell Salah. Yeah, mate, there's always one, isn't there? Fuck you. I don't know what else to say to you. You're clearly in here to try and goad us with your Sell Salah shite, so just fuck off, mate, in all honesty. What's the chances of us getting Bellingham? Do you know my take on this? I can only tell you guys so many times that I fully expect Bellingham to be a Liverpool player when he leaves Borussia Dortmund. When that is, we'll have to wait and see. What else we got? Fulham coach also talked about the situation with the contract not having had time to be signed on the day, which also doesn't normally happen unless they're looking to do a deal. So look, here's where it is with Fulham and Carvalho. He's leaving at the end of the season the way things stand. His contract is up at Fulham. Now, Fulham will be due compensation, but the amount of that compensation would differ greatly from if he signed for an English club or if he signed for a club outside of England. The difference being, if he signed for an English club, you would then have to go to a tribunal if you didn't agree a compensation package with Fulham. That tribunal could be as much as 4, 5, 6 million quid, maybe even more. But if he was to sign for somebody like, picking a name out of a hat here, Borussia Dortmund, I think the compensation that Fulham will be due for his footballing education will be considerably less. I've seen reports of about 200 grand as a figure. So it's kind of in Fulham's interest to keep him in an English club or to move him to an English club because, they'll receive a lot more money. And look, Liverpool want to avoid a tribunal at all costs, as do Fulham, I would expect, because it's a roll of the dice. Nobody knows what way the tribunal will rule. Could be in the favour of the new club and you have to pay a lot less than you expect, or it could be the other way around, like with Harvey Elliott. We have to pay a record fee to Fulham, I think 4.2, 4.5 million quid, something like that. Record fee for a 16-year-old. We also had a tribunal when we signed Danny Ings from Burnley back in the day, and that was a record tribunal fee as well, I think. God, I can't remember the fee. I'll be lying. I just know it was a record fee. Chris Brawley. Welcome, my man. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. You're very welcome, the newest member of the family. If you want to join and become a member here on Anfield Agenda, you can either click the blue join button. You can have a look at the link in the description. Joining the Anfield Agenda FC gets you access to our Discord group. It gets your name in green to me and other members. You get the Anfield Agenda logo beside your name, which changes colour the longer you're with us, and you get all the emojis, which is tons of fun as well. Right, so a little bit of housekeeping. Wednesday, Champions League game. We're going on Twitch. We're rolling the dice here massively and we're aware of that. It's a huge call for us to do a Champions League game on Twitch. A huge, huge roll of the dice. But we believe in you. We believe that you're going to come across and support us. And I can't tell you how important this is. I don't ever try and push the hard sell on you for anything, really. I do an ad read, of course I do, but I never try and sell you shit. This is really, really, really important to us. If you can come across, if you're going to join us for the watch along on Wednesday, if you can please come across to Twitch for that watch along and prove to Twitch that we can bring our numbers. This could be life-changing for us all in the long term. So, look, if you have time on Wednesday, please do come across. We'll do a preview video, a team news announcement video on YouTube first, to remind you all. Then we're going to be shooting over to Twitch for the watch along. And look, I want to remind everyone, Twitch is absolutely free. I know some people are confused about this. It's absolutely free. It is built for live platform users like ourselves. So, yeah, hopefully you can come across and give us some support on there on Wednesday. We'll also be on Twitch tomorrow, by the way, for the PSG Real Madrid game, which, what a tie that is. I can't wait for it. Mane to Spain. Yeah, there's been some talk, Emil Joseph. There's been some talk of interest from Barcelona and Sadio Mane. But look, I don't think there would be short of any interest if Jurgen Klopp decides that Sadio was going to move on. But look, I genuinely don't know what's going to happen with the situation with Sadio Mane, with Mohamed Salah and Bobby Firmino. I'm waiting like the rest of you to hear the announcement about a Mohamed Salah contract. Is Steve still part of the channel, or is he on honeymoon? Steve asked for some time away to, he's got loads of stuff going on in his personal life. Obviously, recently got engaged. I believe he's moving house. So much stuff. He's obviously got a son to look after as well. So Steve will probably be back in a few weeks' time. He's just, really busy at the minute. And he works with Sale Sharks and PR and, lots of other stuff. So, yeah, we told Steve just, send us a message whenever you're ready to come back and you will be welcome with open arms as always. If Mane goes to Spain, we end up signing Jude, I wouldn't complain. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the forward situation because, right now, I love the 5 senior forwards we have at the club. I love now we have Mane, Firmino, Salah, Jota and Luis Diaz. I mean, I'd happily have another season with those 5 lads. But then again, we'd have to have extensions sorted, or we'd risk losing Mane. Well, technically we could risk losing all of them for free if they don't sign new deals. What are your preferred summer signings? Jude Bellingham, clearly. And after that, I think I'd have to say it would depend on outgoings, because if we brought in another midfielder, and look, it's no secret that most of our priority would be Bellingham. So let's say we brought in that midfielder. I think we have to see what happens with like Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner. You'd expect Origi to move on. Still don't know what might happen with Minamino in the summer. And then it comes down to the centre-back situation as well, interestingly, because, there's been a few murmurings about Joe Gomez, so what happens there? If Joe moves on, then we've got to find another centre-back. Seen reports again over the weekend that Chelsea are interested in Jules Koundé from Sevilla, so they look like they're going to be strengthening at centre-back as well. So look, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see what happens. Natasha said Jota should start. Against Inter, 100% agree. I think he was supposed to start yesterday, Natasha, but reports of a dead leg or something like that. So they started him on the bench and brought him on. So yeah, that's, I think we're good. How are we feeling ahead of this game, by the way, against Inter? Because I know I'm a lot more confident about it than a lot of people, but again, I trust my own judgment on this, and I've watched enough of Inter to feel like we've got their number. So, 2-1 win away from home maybe, and then beat them at Anfield and sail through to the last 8. Firmino could play as a central midfielder. Well, as an attacking central midfielder, probably. Confidence at Nathman, easy win. A couple of questions about Yuri Tielemans. Look, I've been telling you for ages that Tielemans hasn't signed that new contract at Leicester. I know other people get credit for all these transfer stories, but I've been telling you for the longest time that he's going to be available, that somebody will get a bargain in the summer. Manchester United are interested. Apparently Liverpool are interested. Arsenal interested. And I think many Premier League clubs will be interested. I would expect, though, again, Leicester would ideally like to see him outside the Premier League. But then again, Premier League money is probably the strongest. So we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think he'll end up at Liverpool. As much as I wouldn't mind him, and I think Yuri Tielemans has enough about him that he will still develop and continue to progress, I just don't think he's a Liverpool player. The more I think about it, and I was somebody that wouldn't have minded him coming in, but not now. Not now. I think, if he goes to United, I can only see it ending one way, and that's with abject failure for the deal. I'm confident going into every game, said Joel Matip. Craig Smith said can see a 2-2 for some reason. Russell wants the Carvalho news. No problem, mate. So, look, it was reported over the weekend by the Sunday World, Kevin Palmer, that he believes that a framework for a deal to bring Carvalho from Fulham to Liverpool at the end of the season is getting close to being in place. There's also reports, Russell, that... was it Russell? It was Russell. Was that? Am I just here calling it Russell? Yeah, it was Russell. Sorry, Russell. There was reports as well that part of that deal could, and I emphasise the word could here because it's not set in stone, could see Carvalho going back to Fulham on loan for next season, which I don't think would be the worst idea in the world if that was Klopp's intention anyway. You know, they're going to be up in the Premier League by the looks of it. So I don't see anything wrong with it if we think we've enough bodies to cover. I would perhaps like to see Klopp put in the option of recalling him just in case we suffered an injury crisis or something like that, but I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. Is Harvey in the Champions League squad? Yes, I believe so. Do you think we should sell Firmino? No, I don't. I think Mane is the most likely one to move on, and I don't think he's the worst. I'm not saying that in any stretch of the imagination. I just know how important Bobby Firmino is to a lot of what we do. And I know some people still don't like the lad or still don't appreciate his work, but I do. Is Origi back? Yes, he's back training. Whether we see him or not in the squad remains to be seen. I mean, look, our bench over the last few days has been nothing short of fantastic. You know, for the last couple of games, look at the strength and depth we now have on the bench. I mean, looking at the game against Burnley with Thiago on the bench, we had Luis Diaz on the bench, we had Harvey Elliott on the bench. I mean, it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. What's your opinion on Todd Cantwell? He's moved to Bournemouth, hasn't he? I know we moved somewhere, Todd Cantwell. Can't remember where it was. At one point we looked at Todd Cantwell. We did. We looked at him at one point, but I never heard anything further on that one. Seems okay to me, said TS. Get a year experience in the Premier League. He's still a kid. He moved to Bournemouth. Yeah, I knew he'd move somewhere. Which, to be fair, I thought he was going to be at a higher level, Todd Cantwell. I have to say, when he came through at Norwich, I almost got an Adam Lallana vibe off him with the way he played. Always thought the away goal rule was naff. Glad it's gone. I don't know how I feel about the away goals rule being gone. The only time the away goals rule ever really annoyed me was extra time. I thought it was really unfair then because the away team has the advantage if it goes to extra time. Well, they used to have the advantage because they score a goal, then the home team has to score two, and I always found that very unfair, particularly just in the extra time part. I didn't mind the home and away, but I think it should have been reset when it went to extra time. Do you think we should sell Ox or Keita? Of the two, Ox, you know, if I had to pick one. Did you see the leaked Salah videos? Yes, they're fake. Fake. And quite frankly, it annoys me. It angers me that people are trying to undermine such a good man. And I don't like to see good men being brought down or tried to be brought down. So fuck whoever made that Salah video. And I hope they end up rotting in a jail cell because it's what they deserve. Do we have cover for Fabinho? Yes, we do. His name's Tyler Morton. That's the cover. You know, you might not think he's there yet, but that's the cover and that's the future, and I'm all for it. What have we got? Twitter is actually toxic. I can't believe how disgusting people are. Look, Yusuf, I've been off Twitter now for about 5 months, something like that, and I will never go back on it, mate. It's a cesspool. Yeah, and that doesn't mean that there aren't good people on Twitter. Of course there are. There's some lovely people on Twitter. But there's too many angry, mouthy, gobby, ill-informed idiots on there that try to just spread or negativity and bad news. So, yeah, best to stay away from it. Morton is class, damn right he is. And Hendo can play CDM as well, as RSH14 has pointed out. What's your opinion about taking Coutinho? Has your opinion about taking Coutinho back changed? No, it'll never change. Never. I'm happy to see Felipe Coutinho doing well at Villa. I hope he does well. I hope he does well in the Premier League. I hope he does well in the Stevie G. But I don't like the idea of players revisiting clubs. The only time for me it's ever been a positive was when Robbie Fowler came back under Rafa. because that gave the whole squad a lift when we needed it. But look, Coutinho, he seems like he's going to get back to, I don't want to say his best, but certainly very good form there. And yeah, I wish him all the best. Again, look, it's mad. So many people, and I know good people in the chat here. I know people from, interacting with them over the years. And it really hurts me to see so many of you nice people having to stay away from a platform like Twitter. Because there is a minority of people, and it is a minority, but unfortunately they're a very well-organised, loud, vocal minority who make it shitty for the rest of us. And it's a shame, because you wish social media platforms to get their finger out and start doing their fucking jobs and removing these assholes. But unfortunately what happens is content creators like myself and others and good people like you guys out there are just driven away from these platforms. And people on these platforms often at times just want, an echo chamber of their own views, and they only want to associate with people that hold their own often narrow-minded, angry views. And they want their confirmation, reaffirmation of this stupid shit that they believe. And unfortunately at Twitter, it's very easy to find those little cliques of people come together and just gang up and bully people, which is what happens. And I say this because it happened to me many times on there. It happened to a lot of good people I know as well. And no matter how tough mentally you think you are, shit can grind you down. It can grind you down on there when you're being doxxed, when you're putting your public information out there, when they're spreading falsehoods about you. And you've no recompense, you've no comeback on this. So I would advise you guys, if you're, looking at Twitter and thinking, just give it a miss. Give it a miss for a month and see how you get on, see how you feel. I can only speak of my own experience, and I feel like a different person now. I have a lot more self-worth. Thoughts on Pedri? Would you take him at Liverpool? Would have, before he signed that contract with the €1 billion release clause. Gavi, another one who we've looked at, although he hasn't signed that new release clause yet. Confirmation bias, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, sorry, I was just going quick there. Was it half to a rant, Yusbel? And yeah, I couldn't think of what it was. I hope Salah scores a hat-trick on Wednesday after all of this, says Noah. Well, look, one thing we know about Mohamed Salah is he'll be focused, he'll be ready, he'll be calm. And yeah, I expect the best Mohamed Salah to show up on Wednesday night. And Fabinho, by the way, can we take a little minute to just appreciate Fabinho? I think he's definitely scored more goals in 2022 than Cristiano Ronaldo. So, and that's our DM. And it was interesting to hear Jurgen Klopp speaking about Fabinho, actually, and that he'd only recently, or I think maybe this season, started allowing Fabinho to go up for corners and get into the penalty area. But we've seen how impactful he can be, because not only did he have a strike from after Mane flicked it on with the header, but he followed his own strike up and toe poked it home, and I was over the moon, absolutely over the moon. I think it's 5 and 8 or something like that for Fabinho now, and yeah, I mean, another great smile, another person that just lights up your soul when he's happy. Fabinho scored more than Messi and Ronaldo together. Oh, hello. They'll still find a way to squeeze these fuckers into the Ballon d'Or, though. You know what I mean? Next season, they'll still find a way to make sure Messi and Ronaldo are somewhere in that Ballon d'Or list, even though they've been nowhere near what they were. And by the way, the way we all love player ratings and stuff like that as well. So I'd seen Sky Sports player ratings for the Spurs game against Wolves, and Hugo Lloris got the lowest score I've ever seen given on the player ratings. 3 out of 10. In a 2-0 loss. That's not good. I wish we signed Mane and Salah to new contracts. John, I'd happily put the entire front three on new contracts. I mean, let's say if they would sign a 3-year contract, Firmino and Mane, I'd happily sign them up. I really would. Puskas is a god, said Hugo Lloris was horrific. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking of. I mean, it was madness, some of the goalkeeping. Do I like the idea of release clauses? No, I don't. But in some countries, Hannah, like Spain, they are They have to be in a contract. It's part of the player's contract. They have to be written into them. Now, you can make that release clause ridiculous, like £1 billion like Barcelona have done. But I think in some other European countries as well, there has to be a release clause in the players' contracts. In the UK, no. It can be there, but it's not there by law. What have we got? If Milner is getting one, the rest should for sure. I still don't know if Milner is getting one. I interpreted Jurgen Klopp's comments a little bit differently to other people. But yeah, look, let's just wait and see. What kind of picks? Keegan, use your imagination, dude. You know what I mean? You know, we've got to be careful what we say here. But I want to reiterate this again for those coming in late. All the Salah stuff around Snapchat, fake. Not Mo. And I hope whoever is behind it gets brought to justice, because it's disgusting. I feel Costas needs to play again. I think he will. I think Costas Tsimikas will play on Saturday against Norwich, and I fully expect Canade to play that game as well. Olin, how are you, mate? Fabinho played brilliantly yesterday. Yes, he was fantastic, Michael. He's been fantastic recently, full stop. Yeah, how great is it? Do we all agree, by the way, that Van Dijk is getting close to his best again? Because even I worried a little bit. I expected Van Dijk to come back and be fantastic and show his quality, but I didn't know if we'd ever get Virg back to like prime Van Dijk. The last couple of games, I'm really starting to see prime Virgil van Dijk arriving back, and it lifts the soul, doesn't it? Makes you smile. And Matip again has returned to his imperious best, although I still think he needs to be a bit careful about his passing. A few passes went astray again, but yeah, just so good. Another clean sheet as well. And Alisson Becker, you know, we often speak about Alisson Becker, and rightly so, but once again, just a masterclass of goalkeeping, a masterclass of angles, a masterclass of forcing the attacker into making a decision. He is so good at not over-committing in one-on-ones. And quite frankly, I'm going to say, in my opinion, Alisson Becker is the best one-on-one goalkeeper in the world. And I know Manuel Neuer is also excellent in those situations, but for me, Alisson's the best. I mean, he's so... Like, as I said, I'm a former goalkeeper, and I look at this guy in absolute awe, because he never makes the wrong decision in these one-on-ones. Never. He's so damn good. It's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. If you're a young goalkeeper out there, watch this man. Watch him. Learn from him. He's genius. And that's why when people talk to me about Caoimhín Kelleher, particularly Irish fans, and say maybe Caoimhín should go on loan to get experience. No. This man is training day in, day out with one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the world, with Taffarel, a Brazilian legendary goalkeeper as well. Caoimhín Kelleher can only benefit from this exposure and this experience. And Liverpool are making it a priority to make sure that they have the best, or one of the best, goalkeeping coaching setups in the world. And our Irish boy is in there. So yeah, I'm loving it. I'd like to see Canade play alongside VVD more. I think, yes, Michael, I agree. I know where you're coming from, and I definitely think that is the long-term plan. The problem with that, and this isn't a problem in any way really, is that Matip has just been goddamn class this season. Absolutely fantastic. Ederson by a mile. He's not even the best Brazilian goalkeeper, mate. Look, Ederson's a good keeper, but he's nowhere near the same league as Alisson. Canade needs to start against Inter, so Matip can rest. Nah, I expect it to be the other way, mate. I expect Matip to play and then Canade to play on Saturday. Think about it. Away, big European night. You want the experience. You want somebody who's been there, done it. And that has been Joe Matip. So I expect Matip to play. But look, if Canade plays, I'm not going to be angry. They're both brilliant. Would I take Carvalho, Rafinha and Tchouaméni or Bellingham alone? It's an impossible question to answer, because I don't know in your scenario if we've moved on Mane, if we've moved on Firmino, and that would play into my answer. So probably take Bellingham, to be honest with you. But look, we're getting Carvalho, so I don't like these hypothetical would you take X, Y or Z's, because we don't have to play that game. In my opinion, he's better than Alisson. No, he's not, Dave. He just isn't. That's, I mean, it is about opinion, as you said, and you're fully entitled to yours, but you're wrong. He's not better than Alisson. He just isn't. There's not one facet. Maybe his distribution. Maybe I'd give Ederson that. But outside of that, no. Nowhere near. I mean, I'd have... If we're ranking them out of 10, Alisson's a 9. Ederson's a 7.5 for me. And look, I think De Gea is a better goalkeeper than Ederson, if I'm being really honest. In the Premier League, I think De Gea is second only to Alisson. Do I think Liverpool can still catch Man City? So there was a programme done out. Let me just read this. Connor sent it to me. So just to give you some context to this. And look, you take all these things with a pinch of salt, but just bear with me 1 second, folks. Connor sent me something earlier on. So a model simulator of the rest of the Premier League season gives Liverpool a 6.8% chance of winning the Premier League title. So that's why I've been saying to you, well, not just because of that, but this is why I've been saying to you guys, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. If we can keep winning until we get to the Etihad, I genuinely believe that's the title decider at the Etihad. If Manchester City win or draw that game, I think Manchester City go on to win the Premier League. If Liverpool can get 3 points at the Etihad and close that gap to 3, it's on. I mean, it's a 2-horse race then, and anything is possible. You know, the business end of the season ramps up. Manchester City's games come thick and fast. Liverpool's games come thick and fast. You never know. You just never know what might happen. But I do think we need to keep winning and somehow, and it won't be easy, somehow try and get the 3 points at the Etihad. So, look, we will wait and see what happens. Just quickly, I have a few more minutes to go on tonight's stream, but I want to give another shout out to our sponsors, SPITCH, which is a fantasy football manager game, and you come in up to 70 grand from the prize pool every week. You have to be a UK resident, you have to be 18 plus, make sure you have your ID ready on sign up. There are 2 links in the description below. One is a link to download SPITCH, the second is a link to the SPITCH community, which gives you information on leagues, upcoming games, that kind of stuff. You can also get some previews, all that kind of thing. Yeah, so thank you to SPITCH for sponsoring us, and again, links are in the description. I think if we all win a game up to and including the City game, then City will buckle under the pressure. It would be a monumental turnaround if we won this Premier League. It would. But let's just take it, as the old cliche goes, one game at a time. And the next game up, in our terms, against Inter on Wednesday is a huge one. A huge, huge game. Favourite flavour of chewing gum? I don't ever buy chewing gum. Why buy something that I don't swallow? Do you know what I mean? I'd rather buy something that I can chew on and swallow rather than chew and spit it out. So, right, just buy a packet of mints or something. Who do I predict will get 4th in the Premier League? I go back and forth on this one every week. Now I'm thinking Arsenal. You know, a week ago I'd have been absolutely convinced it was going to be Spurs, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants to get into the top 4. West Ham dropping points, United dropping points, Spurs after losing 2 home games in a week against Wolves and against Southampton. So, yeah, you think the most consistent at the minute does seem to be Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. So, you know, may the best team get that 4th spot, but I'm just glad we don't have to worry about it. You know, we're clear up there, top of the table, fighting with City, so that'll do for me. Yeah, so look, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much brings us to this evening's end. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Drop a like on the video. Myself, Paddy Murphy, Chris Stonage, live tonight, 8:45 for this week's Cop the Week show. And again, a reminder, Wednesday night's game against Inter Milan, we need your support, we need your help. We're going over to Twitch for that game, starting from 7:30. We'll also be there tomorrow for PSG Real Madrid. Hope to have your support. Wednesday's a huge night for the channel, so, you know, if you can do us that one favour, come across, join us for that watch along, really appreciate it. Much love to you all. I'll see you at 8:45 tonight. Thank you for